Welcome back to another episode of Ask Gardenstead with your hosts Jaz and
Shannon.
Welcome.
Episode 6 today.
Today we're going to talk mostly about sunflowers and roses,
Yeah.
but a few more other flowers too.
So follow along.
Karen from our houseplant group. Oh, she saved her sunflower.
What was happening to it?
So it looks like
It was just not a straight stem.
crooked, and she bandaged it up.
Very
That
smart.
is lovely, Karen.
So a lot of times, while the flowers are young and not quite developed, your seedlings are developed, a lot of times this happens with my snapdragons. If there's a storm or they get heavily watered, they might droop completely this way. And then if you don't restake them, they'll just start growing back upwards to the sun. So you get these zigzaggy stems, which are interesting but not usable for a flower arrangement. So
Karen, mine
Staking is
actually did this too, and I didn't get out there in time, and mine are doing just that. So the stem is growing kind of perpendicular to the ground,
yeah.
and then now it's reaching up towards the sun, because you know why? My dog Sully laid on some of them when they were little.
Oh, Sully sunflowers.
Yeah.
You should sell them like that. Like, these are Sully sunflowers.
Yeah. Sam and Millie says, does anyone know what kind of flower this is? My guess? Tiger lily.
I was going to say daylily.
Okay.
A type of daylily.
Okay.
So daylilies have these sort of long, spiky, almost spider pant looking leaves. I actually have one over here we can take a shot of. And then you get these long stems with like a bunch of little tiny like teardrop looking buds, and that will open into daylilies. So very hardy. Looks like it's growing like in a crack of cement. So leave it.
Yeah.
If it's growing there, leave it. It'll bloom. Daylilies will only bloom for a day, but there's multiple buds on the stems.
Is that why they call it day lily?
I mean, I think so.
One
When
day lily.
When I was starting out, I tried to cut them and use them in arrangements, and then like the next day I'd go to deliver and I'd be like, it's dead.
Ooh.
And then I was like, it's a day lily, duh. Okay, Melissa from Maine, take a look at this peace lily flower. Sadly, it was injured at the store
huge.
and made its final break on the way home, but look how huge, super cool. That is huge.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one that big.
I didn't even like when I was reading it, but I was like, that looks like what you have in the vacuum cleaner that like rolls and pulls all the stuff up. So I was thinking it was like hidden, but that's very long.
Wow. Update us. What happened with that? Please delete if not allowed. It's about flowers. Of course it's allowed. Does anyone have experience pressing, drying flowers? I'm just getting into it and would love some advice on how to press this guy. Wow.
So the best flowers to press are as thin of petals as possible. So
Because they dry quicker?
and flatter.
Okay.
They dry quicker and flatter. If you think the more surface area it takes up, the more water that's inside the plant, and it's all those layers of tissue and stuff aren't going to dry really, really flat. Because, I mean, that looks like it's kind of bee balm, a type of bee balm, or echinacea. I think it's a type of bee balm. What I would try to do is see if you can sort of slice with a knife the top underneath, so where the petals are coming out, there's like that circular part. See if you can just slice a part of that off and then lay that flat and see if that will press. There might be too much water in there, and you might need to let it dry out for a day. But to me, that looks
In
like
the stem, too much water in the
in like
whole
that
plant.
bulbous part, like a bee balm almost has like a cup shape, and then the petals are kind of at the top.
And the moisture sits there?
Well, when you think about, like, it's not a dry cavern, it's quite full of water. So you kind of want the flowers to be as dry as possible before you press them, so that you're not getting too much water and moisture everywhere.
So, like a pansy would be good to press?
Pansies are the best. Straw flowers, I don't press straw flowers, I dry them. Pansies, daisies.
Okay, next question. Angel from New York. Oh, just posted a picture of his roses. They are beautiful.
Roses.
So, roses can be pretty complicated to grow.
Yes.
Right? They have a lot of, they're high maintenance, let's say.
Roses are very high maintenance.
You like growing roses?
I love growing roses not because they like produce a lot. It's because they like take a lot. They're hard to get. You got to put a lot of effort in to get like 1 or 2 really nice blooms, and I love that. And then it's like when they bloom, it is
so worth it.
So worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. I feel like if
beautiful.
Cosmos took so long to get one pretty little purple daisy-like flower, I think maybe they'd be more sought after, but they grow like weeds.
Sure.
Those are beautiful roses.
Those are beautiful roses, Angel. Thank you for sharing. Okay.
Misty from Texas. Does anyone know if I need to deadhead this to get more flowers, or it just stopped blooming? I don't know what that is.
So it looks like a
type of succulent. Yeah.
Often deadheading always will produce more blooms.
Yeah.
Because all of the energy is going from the plant to create the bloom. So once it's spent, so when a flower is done, it's referred to as spent. Once it's spent, you clip it off, and then the plant can figure out where to send more energy to bloom
somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that exact type of a succulent, but I would agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is from Donna. Can somebody tell me which type of rose this is, please? I have never seen a rose so full. I love it. I don't know the name of it. I mean, there are unbelievable amounts of roses. There are so many varieties of roses. It's actually ridiculous.
So
it doesn't look like an English garden rose. It looks like it's a garden rose
can I guess?
Yeah, like a grandiflora is what I would say.
I think it looks like a wild rose to me.
It could, yeah. And it depends, too, what the size of those blooms are. Like, they could be really tiny, in which case then it's most likely a wild rose. If they're really, really big cup-shaped flowers, I'd say it's either I say more of a floribunda or grandiflora based on how many flowers are blooming at once. Hybrid teas are sort of where you would get your one long stem rose.
So next question is also from Donna Smith. Donna says, my pavement rose has been growing nicely in a 5-gallon bucket.
Good.
So well that it is blooming again. I got a full rose a couple of days ago. Went to check if my plants needed watering, and the only bloom on my rose bush is covered in Asian beetles.
Oh. Because they're perfumed and sweet, sometimes they release like a sap. I mean, honestly, I've seen some flower farmers who want to maintain the perfection of the buds is they wrap like mesh bags and tie the mesh bags around the bloom so that as they're opening, then they can use them as cut flowers.
People do that with fruit trees too when the fruit is growing.
Yeah.
That's a very organic way to keep Japanese beetles off.
Make sure you're
goods.
always deadheading your roses. Yeah, I don't use any chemicals or pesticides. It's really annoying especially I find it the worst with roses because you wait so long for this bloom and then something happens to the bud or something happens to the bloom. I'm sorry that's happening. Tamara from Minnesota. I have a pink rose bush that has produced multiple babies throughout my garden that I need to dig out and transplant. Has anyone tried to container a rose bush? Did it work? And if so, what tricks did you use? It was just a random idea I had. So
I would get a container that's big.
Like a 5-gallon pot?
I do like 10-gallon.
Yeah?
And then I've only done miniature roses in containers.
So the cool thing about a rose is they need to sort of go in the ground and have a dormant winter. But if you want to dig them up, separate them, put them into containers, and then you might not know where you want to plant them, but you can dig a hole somewhere in your yard or backyard or whatever, put it in its container in the ground. Mulch it up.
The whole container
can go in the hole.
Yeah.
So it's going to stay compact so that you can dig it out and move it wherever you want in the spring. But it still will be in the ground and will be protected from the harsh winter.
That's an awesome tip.
My friend Laurel told me that.
Oh, very nice. So that's a great.
And I've done it, and it does work. I've done that. Yeah.
Okay. So if you have, Tamara, if you have enough space, plant it.
Yeah.
But then when it's late fall,
plant
dig a
it
big
in the
hole,
container.
plant the whole container into the ground, and then in spring you can take
And
it out.
always mulch up over sort of the rows, like the joint where it sits above ground. You always want to kind of cover and protect that with some mulch and leaves and stuff.
So I visualize mulch as a blanket.
Yes.
So when you mulch things to keep them warm, to overwinter them, you're like applying a blanket. What type of mulch would you use with the rose?
I always use wood shavings.
Yep.
Like
Cedar?
Cedar, yeah. That's always what I use. I like the look of it in the garden. I like the smell of it. I think it does a great job. I know a lot of people make their own mulch. I'm always wary of it because I'm constantly pulling leaves and things that are possibly infected. So I would like to get fresh, clean cedar chippings. A lot of people use hay.
Straw.
I don't have any.
Yeah, hay seeds.
That's right, straw.
Straw doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah. Iris.
I love, stop. Everyone's name is like Iris, Rose. Like,
oh, it's true.
Do you ever notice?
Stop.
Stop. I have something to say.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love it.
Do you remember when I told you about how I cut my eye open on an
Oh
iris?
my gosh. Yes.
About 8 years ago, I was gardening and I cut my eyeball open on an iris leaf.
Oh my God, your eye?
Yeah. So I was in a client's garden and I went straight down and I cut my eyeball open. So I always joke I cut my iris on an iris. But I Googled it and it said the leaves are sword-like and they're serrated.
Yeah, they're so sharp.
So I ended up getting a deep serrated abrasion in my eye.
Oh my God, I feel sick.
I had to have like an eye patch and and I couldn't blink. They had to do like a clear contact over it so my top lid could blink. But the worst part is that when I'm really, really tired in life, my eye is sore. I can still feel pain.
Oh my God, that's so gross.
Mm-hmm. So my dad made me wear safety glasses in the garden for years. It's probably about here, and I just went right down, right into it, and I just crumpled, and I shut my eyes, and I knew something was really bad.
That's disgusting, and I'm so sorry.
And I had to drive home with one eye, and then the
with
other
one
eye was gushing out.
It was bleeding?
So I'm so stubborn.
Was there a lot of blood inside an eyeball?
No blood.
What was it gushing with? Liquid?
Water. So I get home and I think nothing of it. I'm so stubborn. So I don't do anything and I'm really struggling all night. I get up the next morning to go to work and I take a cosmetic cotton pad, like one of those.
Okay.
And I tape it to my eye and I'm going to reverse out my driveway and I can't even see because now this eye is like acting up. And so I just stopped the car and I
think I can listen
called
to
my boss and said, I don't think I can garden today.
That's so gross. Stop following me. Okay, Iris from the Gardenstead Houseplant Group. She's over 9 feet tall, no sunflower yet. What's going on?
Okay, so it's coming. It probably is. It is just
if it's
probably
9 feet tall, it's happy.
It's a mammoth variety.
Yeah.
I would get on a ladder, peek at the very top, and I bet you a bud is forming.
Yeah, make sure it's
You
getting
just gotta
enough
wait
sun.
a little bit more. I think it doesn't look like there's any obstruction around it.
No.
If it's growing that tall, there's sun.
Yeah, I would think so.
So just wait. We want to see when it
yeah,
blooms.
send us a picture when it blooms. I wonder how tall it's gonna be.
Maybe 10 feet.
Taller than me. That's like 2 me.
Okay, Mary Ellen asks, does anyone know what flower this is? It's not a trumpet or a hibiscus.
It
looks
almost looks like a giant petunia.
Looks like a moonflower.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. That, like, it looks like a little...
It almost looks like she's growing cucumbers, and it's like a weird veggie bloom. Like, it looks like it's part of more of a vegetable...
Or a Little Shop of Horrors from the movie.
That wasn't that pretty.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's a moonflower.
Yeah, looks like it. Possibly.
Mary Ellen.
Lexi from Indiana says, the sunflower eater.
Oh, that looks like squirrels.
The worst.
Squirrels know just when
To eat them.
Yep.
That's when getting one of those like little mesh bags
Yes.
would be a good idea, but I mean, it's not as pretty to look at. But
And with sunflowers, you can get a brown paper bag, cover the whole head. After it's done, like when it's closer to be ready to harvest, then you tie it around the sunflower and you start to dry it out a little bit to get the sunflower seeds. So starts to dry it out, and 2 protects it from the squirrels and the birds.
See, I've had issues with squirrels and birds eating the buds before you can even finish enjoying the flower, which is
Wow.
They're just annoying.
Yeah.
Again, I wonder if blood and bone meal in the soil will help.
You try that, Lexi. Blood and bone meal.
In the soil.
I read somewhere that sunflowers are good to have around your garden bed to help pollinate. Absolutely.
Very true.
Yes.
The only thing I would say is that the sunflowers bloom later in the summer, so they're late pollinators. So you want to have a mix of things that are going to bloom throughout the season that can help pollinate.
So zinnias are good. Eat borage. Bees love borage.
Yeah. Cosmos.
I
always say, right? Anything that has
the
like
fuzzy middle.
The fuzzy middle.
I'm learning. It's my first year growing calendula. Love it.
Beautiful
You
colors.
can dry it and use them medicinally.
Yeah.
And the one I grew is called zeolites from a company called West Coast Seeds.
Yeah.
Love West Coast Seeds. And zeolite was like a bit of a peachy, subdued color. Like,
I know, I want to cut out of the garden.
Can
I
often
love
be
them.
quite orange.
Yes.
And this one was like this like peachy, creamy, beautiful.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you've got things coming at different times. Trees, like flowering bushes, are always great. A mock orange, they love. But yeah, like the later summer ones are excellent. So you're doing exactly the right thing.
And really, I was vegetable gardening for years before I really thought what was missing was color and bringing all the bees to my yard. The gardenstead community is talking non-stop.
It's awesome.
And we are trying to answer as many questions as we can, so please keep them coming.
Bye.